Hop on Twitch real quick or hop on YouTube. Let's give it up about this Diddy situation, all right? Yo, Diddy, man, you done fucked up, brother. Diddy done fucked up. Now, here's the thing. Before we get into this Diddy thing, I've been having a lot of conversations and a lot of people been saying, yo, Diddy is done. I've been in denial. I'm saying he's not done. Diddy has had the same reason all these other media niggas is pussy to talk about him is because they know he'll be back, right? Put it like this. The only time you're ever going to hear a motherfucker talk about Diddy is when they see criminal charges. You know why? Because that money's long. And all these little civil suits, he could pay or will pay everybody to shut the fuck up, change their story, or just basically claim they lied. Only a criminal lawsuit, or not a lawsuit, but a criminal charge that people think he will go to jail, that's when you're going to get everybody jumping out of the woodworks like, oh yeah, let me speak about him. The rest of these niggas, they're completely shook, right? I don't know the truth. I'm not here to convict him or not, but shit, things keep coming out about the dude, right? Now, there's a new allegation coming out. This is about, I believe, the fourth allegation that's came out about Diddy. And before we even get there, man, you know, we've kind of done some recapping before. And salute to Art of Dialogue, but I thought Diddy was about to have a decent week going into this week because I didn't think there was going to be any more allegations. If you don't know why the allegations came out, in New York State, there's a statute and there's a law that actually allows for older cases that have to do with sexual assault and such nature. You could file within, like, they put a 1-year moratorium on it, which means there's a 1-year grace period that if you miss the window or the statute of limitations in terms of filing that civil suit, you could file within that year. Bunch of lawsuits came out, bunch of people got clipped. Essentially, Diddy was one of those people, but he got 3 lawsuits against him. The period was done, so we obviously saw him pay out Cassie. The other two, he don't look like he gonna pay out. So we're like, all right, fuck it. Like, yeah, it is what it is, right? Now, with all that being said, we found another fucking lawsuit. Now, before we get into it, his bodyguard, Jane Doe, been like really spilling like tea, if you want to call it that. But listen to all this shit right here.
You being around Diddy, right? You know, you was working for Diddy for a long time. You seen a lot. You know, you told me that he was a swinger, you know, him being a part of orgies. And out of curiosity, right? You know, you being around Diddy so long, I'm sure at some point he offered you something. Have he ever offered a female to you or offered you to join an orgy or anything?
Bro, we was on a tour bus one time. He had 2 snow bunnies. We picked them up in Dallas. One of the NBA basketball players introduced him to it. He asked me to go get something. I went and got it. He said, yo, Gene, they want to F you, while he was laying in the bed with both of them. And I said, nah, I'm good, bro. I'm all right. And walked out. That's the only time. And then we ended up taking those snow bunnies to Atlanta, right, with us. They went all the way from Texas to Atlanta. And when we got out the bus, it was funny as I was dying. As soon as we got the bus, the snow bunnies was coming off with Puff. And these girls stopped. And they said, I know that ain't Sean Puffy Combs with 2 white girls. Some girls was yelling that out. Yo, those girls were on the next thing flying back to Dallas. After all them other guys had used them on the bus. They might put in a suit against them. Even though they was strippers from the club.
Damn.
Because they would go in the bathrooms, like they'll come, because he had the big suite back there in the tour bus. They'll come out in the bathroom and God bless the dead, whoop, and I ain't gonna call the other person's name. They would take them in the bathroom, misuse them, to send them back there to Puff. That was crazy. It ain't funny, but that's what was happening.
So I gotta ask you, right? Because you was working for Diddy around this time when him and Jennifer Lopez broke up. And we all know that she broke up with him and she started dating one of her dancers. And it's the same situation with Diddy and Cassie, where she broke up with him and she started dating the trainer. So how's that like
Hey, chat. This is something I've only found out a few days ago. Y'all probably thought, because, we've been covering this Diddy shit a lot, right? Y'all probably thought I knew this. I didn't know this. Yo, they did a Tim Duncan I ain't gonna lie to you. If I'm Diddy, again, let me bring it back. If I'm Cassie, if you got that $30 million, shorty, get the fuck out of Dodge, man. Like, nigga, I'd be moving to, like, Antarctica. You gonna catch me in, like, New Zealand, Zimbabwe, or some shit like that. You gotta catch me, like, off the coast of Africa, nigga. You gonna catch me in Sierra Leone, Ivory Coast. Like, you ain't gonna catch me in no motherfucking, like, you know what I mean? Like, Beverly Hills. Fuck out of here. You know why? I didn't realize this. So let's do the math. So apparently, Diddy was with Cassie from 2006 to like 2017, like 11-year relationship, okay? So Diddy and Cassie are together for literally 11 years, okay? When she leaves Diddy, and I'm guessing she left Diddy or however it got broken up in 2017, less than like a year and a half afterwards, she's spitting out a kid. Like, she pregnant already for another nigga. Now, I always found it weird, but I didn't know this was supposedly, and this is alleged, Apparently, Diddy had hired her a trainer. Like, which, by the way, I know I got bread and shit like that. I'll never hire my bitch a trainer. Hell nah. Bitch, you better go run. Just start running around the blocks, man. Hell nah. I'm not hiring no nigga to train. Like, anyway, apparently, Diddy hired her new husband. This is what's being alleged. Diddy hired the nigga to train his girl, no pun intended, but like, he was a trainer. She started fucking him on the side and realized Diddy ain't shit and left Diddy and now married to him. So there was an article that I seen. Look, Cassie, Diddy, Alex Fine, trainer. Let's see. Here we go. Look. This is why I said, that money he gave her, he might want to kill her. Just on some real shit. Like, you got to be honest. First of all, we were doing free calls for 11 years. Shit was sweet. And then you left, so you fucked up the free calls. No more free calls because you want to leave. Not only did you leave, the nigga you're leaving to go fuck is the guy who I paid to be your personal trainer. So I hired a nigga to help train you to get in good shape and all that shit. That must have been before the BBL era, because these hoes definitely do not get no type of training. All they do is go to Dr. Miami and take a couple selfies, and all of a sudden these bitches come back with like, these, like, I be going through Miami. They be coming through with the little girdles or whatever the fuck they got going on. Anyway, check this out. If I'm Diddy, I'm tight as shit. You fucked the nigga when I paid him to be a trainer. Now you left me for that nigga. Now you broke. You came back and sued me. I had to pay you $30 million and the same fucking trainer you still with. Anyway, check this out. Read this. And by the way, this is an old article. This was from January 9th, 2019. So let's read this article real quick, right? Sean Diddy Combs' ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura went on Instagram official with professional bull rider Alex Fine, but the relationship might not be as new as it appears. At least Diddy don't think so. The music mogul, which at that time was 49, believes that Cassie, who was 32, cheated on him with Fine, a source told People. Ventura just introduced her new boo to the followers on Saturday when she posted up a photo of herself with Fine sharing a kiss on the lips, but both of them have known each other for months, the source says. The pair met when Diddy hired the nigga to be her personal trainer before the split was announced in October, the insider claims. The source says, why Diddy believed there was absolutely an overlap. Cassie wanted a personal trainer. Diddy hired Alex for her. Then Cassie and Alex started hooking up before the relationship with Diddy was over. Her Instagram post of the dude also included a shot of her mother from blah, blah, blah. Okay. So basically, this was one of the pictures that I guess she shared around that time. She was like, yo, she got a new man. Yeah, Diddy might got to put some money on that nigga head. That nigga took your bitch, fucked her, and then got her to turn around and sue your ass for $30 million? Nah, hell nah. That ain't a Diddy I know. Diddy, you got to get this nigga clapped. Facts. You got to get this nigga clapped. This Alex Fine nigga, he gonna be doing personal training nigga in hell or some shit like that. Fuck that. Imagine a personal trainer taking your bitch. This is crazy, man. Okay. Anyway, I don't know if you guys knew this story. Anyway, let's get back to Jane Doe.
Back there when you was working for Diddy and he broke up with, Jennifer Lopez. And how did he react to that?
Well, first and foremost is that he was trying to get Jennifer back, and she was using her personal assistant to let him know wherever Jennifer was at. That's why when Jennifer said that she'll pop up, one time she popped up and she was somebody, there was I think 100 dozen roses. Who buys a chick 100 dozen roses or something like that? And it was because her personal assistant at the time had some kind of lead. Her personal assistant had some kind of what you call it, owed Diddy something. I don't know what she owed him, but she would let Diddy know whatever.
Okay, let me give this a pause real quick. Chat, I want to explore an alternate theory. I want to see if y'all rock with me or think this is possible. By the way, we're not here. I want everybody who's watching, because I have so many amazing chat queens who watch me. Trust me, I'm in y'all corner. I'm a feminist. Listen, ask for the women. Don't you worry. I'm not here defending Diddy. I'm not here to try to make him look good or whatever the case is. I'm here, again, we haven't seen much proof. Obviously, he paid, which is kind of almost like you kind of look guilty when you pay up before you go to court. But we don't really know exactly what's going on. Now, here's the thing. There's many allegations, right? Obviously the allegation of is Diddy gay? I don't give two fucks about that. It appears like Diddy might like dick, balls, pussy, whatever. You know what I mean? He likes whatever, right? I don't know that to be true. I'm just assuming based on what I've heard based on these allegations, right? Now, let's continue. The reason why I want to bring this up, and I'm about to play a no jumper clip, but I'm about to play a no jumper clip with Wack 100 talking about Diddy. And it was kind of interesting how Wack kind of, he had an interesting perspective on it. His perspective was this. Listen. And just hear it out. He said Diddy might have been beating her ass and been really abusive. From the Kim Porter thing, people are now saying that there's a history of abuse when it comes to Diddy. So the putting hands on her, all that type of stuff, that probably was true, right? However, he was saying he wasn't gonna instantly jump on the belief of the freak off shit that she wasn't with it. Because he's saying which person is, again, it's not like she's tied and locked in a dungeon. Who willingly does a freak off for 12 years? Even if you're saying it's under duress, who does a freak off for 12 years with a nigga only after the 12 years to say, oh, you weren't down with the freak offs? So basically she's saying, hey, basically what he's saying, and you're going to hear what he says. The kinky, freaky, sexy stuff, or sex stuff, she was down with it. Obviously, she wasn't down with her getting her ass beat. Let's see if we could extract that. You guys let me react to this, okay? I want to hear you guys react.
The liquor already is kind of like what it is. The minute those ads start being pulled, what happens with Revolt, right? And him being sitting in that seat will force, all it takes is that major ad to pull out and they go public and say, we have, pulled out our ad campaign with Revolt, and then somebody like No Jumper reports that company has pulled out, it's over with. So he did the best thing he should have. He should have did that initially. A lot of things he should have did. He should have just took care of Cassie and when she asked for it. And he should have been, at the time that Cassie happened, he should have stepped down then.
Okay, he's about to get to it.
He tried to save himself by settling the suit right away, right?
Yeah, but he's cold feet about the driver. So me and you make a decision that we got to get rid of the driver, right?
Okay.
Years go by. It was me, you, and the driver.
Okay, great. He's making a good point here, Chad. Just listen.
See, she extorted him.
That's
That's a very big accusation. Wack claims the way Cassie went about this was extortion. Listen to this.
you're comfortable calling it extortion
I'm
based
gonna
on
tell
what?
you why. I'm gonna tell you why. Adam, if me and you went on a robbery, it was me, you, and the driver, right?
Right.
And in the commission, no, we can't say that because what I'm about to say, I ain't my homie.
He looks like he could drive right now.
No. In the commission of the robbery, we leave and we start to get like cold feet about the driver. So me and you make a decision that we got to get rid of the driver, right?
Okay.
Years go by. Yeah, Adam, I need $1 million before I start talking about that robbery. You know what happened that night, and I stop. Now, the world hears robbery, but you know what happened that night. You know it's a shallow grave somewhere, right?
Now, what Wack is saying makes a lot of sense if you think about it. It's a little bit, it's layered. He's saying, and I know I'm recapping what he said, you and the guy go to do a robbery. Remember, the story is the robbery, but you have a driver. Yeah, I think the driver might be a snitch. Maybe he's not about that life. This and third. You're like, damn, we got to tie up a loose end. Let's kill the driver too. The driver gets killed during the robbery. Y'all bury him somewhere. Y'all go y'all separate ways. Robbery complete. Years down the line, somebody comes up and says, yo, give me $1 million. You're like, I ain't even know $1 million. So, all right, well, shit, you're kind of popular. I'm going to tell everybody about the robbery. Now, of course, the public is going to be like, what? So-and-so used to be doing a robbery, but you know in your back of your mind, the real story ain't the robbery. The real story is that y'all killed the driver, and the driver is buried down the road. And I guess he's saying that Cassie didn't put out anything real in that lawsuit, but she put enough that she could get the money to get out of there. Here we go.
With the driver in it.
Okay.
I need $1 million. Right? Now, let's fast forward to what Cassie did. Yes, he would have me go get the male prostitutes, and he would strip naked and masturbate while filming us. She stopped.
True.
You know what Puffy knows? And after I got done with the male prostitute, then he would join in and I would grab the camera and film them, right? She put enough out there to let him know I'm not playing, I'm about to tell it all.
So you think that he was getting it in with these dudes too?
I think Puffy did nothing wrong when it comes to their sexual acts. If she was with it, he paid to keep the embarrassment from coming out.
Do you think he's that embarrassed about fucking with dudes?
Puffy has a fucking ego. He has children.
Yeah.
Understand what I'm saying? I don't think it's just about him. And I think, remember, a person's gonna fire the smaller gun first. Can you only imagine the other things that she would have began to talk about?
Because when that case came out, that's what I was telling Lena. I'm like, just imagine what they're going to put out.
24 hours.
I'm like, what are they going to put out about him next week? What are they going to put out the week after that? Because you know that they're not giving you everything all at once, even though it's a suit. You know they got all kinds of shit ready to go. This is not like a one and done.
I think Wack made a lot of sense here, and I don't think people thought about it like that. Basically to say, and I actually now believe this. I believe Cassie threw herself on the sword to save Diddy's reputation, but I think she was smart enough to know Diddy would have to pay her, and even though she wouldn't get to tell the full story, the mere fact that she went public, because all the dominoes are falling now, every other woman who ever dealt with him and experienced anything of the sort was going to come forward. So if you're talking about justice for Cassie, we keep seeing allegations come up, right? But do I believe Wack in what he's saying about Shane come out with the whole joint and she basically teased it? Yeah, kind of. Here we go.
Puffy, whatever he was doing with her sexually, that was consensual. But the things that were probably going on were probably bringing embarrassment to him and his family.
So, I mean, like, you don't believe that she was really, like, getting mentally tortured by him for all those years? Because that's kind of what she was saying.
You know, I believe that it's been 5 years. Let's get it. Like, you know, I'm tired of no disrespect. You got caught fucking the trainer that Puffy was paying for. So let's not paint her as a fucking angel.
That's how they fell out?
He's the one who reminded me of that. He's the one who reminded me of that.
This is a fact.
Maybe that was her just trying to find a way out.
She have 2 kids. She's sitting back and she's watching Young Miami getting assistance from Puff with her career, which is something she was looking to happen.
While he impregnates other women.
Right. Puff always had an understanding with his female that it just ain't me and you. Even with Young Miami, I don't think it's just those 2 things. She plays her position.
Yeah, he's been pretty clear about that.
Whatever that may be, right? Young Miami, she's pretty strong-willed. She's going to accept what she's going to accept, and that's...
Aisha Kenya, by the way, thank you for that comment, and trust me, I'm reading everything you guys are saying. You're saying there's no proof she cheated. Okay, that's a valid point. I'm going to have to look into that a little bit more, but let's just be logical, and I'll ask you this question, because I know as a man how I would think, right? If I hired a nigga to be around my girl, and I don't care if she didn't cheat. If we broke up and she got with that nigga that I hired for her, which means she only met him because I hired that nigga, I'm gonna think some spooky shit was up. I don't give a fuck what she says. As a man, I think that's very feasible. If I introduced you to, like, it's like your girl cheating on you. If you introduce your girl to the dude she ends up fucking, you feel probably 50 times worse because you feel like you brought the nigga to the table that she could fuck. Do you get what I'm saying?
That's what it is, right? But I think you know exactly what was going on when it comes to the sexual activities 14, 15 years. That's like your wife 15 years from now saying, I didn't want to. I did it because you made me feel like I had to.
Right.
And you're like, what the fuck are you talking about? It's a little different with you because your shit's televised.
And she got me into porn.
Okay, by the way, I'm reading Aisha, by the way, thank you for your comment, by the way, you know, and I want everybody to, we got to be very welcoming and nice to our chat queens because they're continuing these conversations. These conversations we can't have just in an echo chamber of men. We actually do need women opinions and voices to really debate with, right? Aisha says, yo, Ak, what everyone's forgetting is that Cassie was an employee and she sued not only Diddy, but his companies that have shareholders. Think about this from a legal standpoint. Okay, so you're making that point that I think we already debunked. Okay. Yes, she was an employee, right? But as I said, these companies did not settle. The only person, if you ask me, this is, again, I'm not no professional, but I'm just a guy with common sense. It sounds good. Of course you're going to sue these other companies. Put it like this, right? I went to watch Ice Spice perform, and she was an opener for Doja Cat. It was at the Prudential Center. Okay, I go in there and let's say, God forbid, Freddie Gibbs and 15 of his goons was there, right? They all jumped on me, beat the brakes off of me, and shit, in the process, like I got a punctured lung. The lawsuit that I'm gonna file, I'm suing Doja Cat, Ice Spice, Prudential Center, Live Nation, Freddie Gibbs, everybody getting sued. So I know y'all are kind of like focusing on this whole Cassie thing and saying, oh, she's not just suing under, like, that's what I think is false. She's not suing under under employment law. That's not what her lawsuit is solely based on. She is suing companies, but she's suing because, and if you read the allegations in her lawsuit, it's not saying, hey, I was an employee and my employer was stepping out of bounds. That was not how it was even alleged. It was saying, hey, I was in a relationship that was coerced. Yes, there might have been a power dynamic, which was work, but the big thing is that this person took advantage of me, R-worded me, beat my ass, and these other things. Like, I don't know why I keep mentioning work. If she was talking about just employment, her lawsuit would have been primarily based on talking about employment. Second of all, here's another thing about this whole employment thing that people don't want to even acknowledge, right? So, as an artist, let me ask y'all a question. Do you think NBA YoungBoy is an employee of, and this is where we get on this little weird thing where Sharp was trying to think he won a wager against me. Do you think NBA YoungBoy is an employee of Capitol Records? Now, I would say the answer to that is very tricky. Like, these aren't people that report to HR. Like, if you're a 1099 worker, you are a contracted person. You're not a person reporting to HR. You're not a person adhering to, like, you know what I mean, these HR rules about, like, sexual assault and, like, you know what I mean, workplace harassment. These are a bunch of rappers, my nigga, and, like, you're signing people. So if you think that, put it like this. If everybody's claiming that Cassie's just suing over employment law, bro, every rapper would sue and get a check settled by an insurance company because of that. Lil Pump, he was 16 years old, got signed to a major label. They had drugs around him. They put him in dangerous situation. You think if he had asked one of the workers at the time at Warner, hey, I want to get a pint of, I don't know, Wack or whatever the fuck is that lean? I don't know. Give me some lean or give me some liquor. He's underage. They'll do it. You don't think they'll do it? They'll do it. Why don't he sue then? If it's that lucrative, because we're all believing that Cassie got the bag, but everybody's now claiming it's employment law or employment is because she was an employee why she got a check. Bro, everybody would sue these fucking companies. Do you know what I'm trying to say? The point is this. Diddy paid, okay? That nigga knew he was fucked. He paid up. And now it's in a situation where once you open a rabbit hole, everybody else want payment. And he's saying, fuck out of here. I'm done paying. Then I ask y'all, insurance companies don't know nothing about nothing. If they're going to sell a Cassie shit, why they ain't sell the other two? And if they sell the one, why not? There's one that jumped out today. Why not sell this one too? Again, stop thinking that insurance paid for Diddy. Diddy cut the fucking check. You literally heard Cassie's lawyer. We were asking this nigga for money for 5 months. They're not talking and bartering with his insurance company. They're talking to him. Now, perhaps maybe there's an insurance play in place to possibly pay these other people who ain't get settled. But for a settlement in 24 hours, Diddy paid, bro. Stop it. Anyway, I'm going to play like 2 more minutes of this and then we'll get back to the new thing, which is the allegation about Diddy.
For the record, she already had porn star dreams when I met her.
Listen, but if she was to come out and do that, right, they would scrutinize you. Right, the only difference between you and Puff,
and all she got to do is say it.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter that it makes no sense, and that every single person who was around would say, "Nah, that's not how it happened." Yeah,
30% of the world is going to believe it, regardless of what you say.
Probably more than that,
right?
Yeah.
But I think with you, all the other shit ain't going on. You know, Puff them. You know, it's a lot of rumors out there that, you know, it's a lot of other shit going on. Who knows where the story would have led to?
So when you were saying party on that Akademiks interview, were you talking about
that type
gay
of
shit, or were you more talking about just weird, freaky shit?
All of it in general, because when he says party, the way he's saying it, like he said it to Fabulous, it leads us as heterosexual men to say, Fabulous just said, nah, we partied together. We was at Live. Shout out to Headliner Mike. And he's like, nah, Playboy, me and you, a party. So that's why I'm like, Puff, please go online and define what a party is. Because now it's sounding like you want to get up close and personal or a little too personal. with that individual. And now we're hearing Cassie, right? Him ask.
Okay, so we kind of got like the gist of that, right? Now, before we get into this news story, we should point out a few things that's happening. Diddy's in turmoil. Diageo, the liquor company, that they have, give me 1 second, I'm going to bring it up. They have since cut ties with Diddy, with Ciroc. So if you buy Ciroc anymore, which I don't know how them ending their relationship is going to affect these flavors. The business that I was told, Diddy's never owned Ciroc. He doesn't get a percentage from Ciroc, the main flavor. However, when he would bring on, we got Ciroc coconut or Ciroc pineapple, he would get a percentage off those sales, right? And he didn't own it, but he would get a percentage off the sales because they would look at him like as a marketer. They would allow him to, quote unquote, bring it to market. He would be like, yo, Diddy, you know what I mean? Take that, all that shit. Yo, I'm about to bring this to market. Bet. Whatever. Cool. They have ended that relationship. So he's supposedly not getting paid from Ciroc anymore if they've cleaned up those other, as I said, like Ciroc, like pineapple or whatever. They probably either said, hey, you're not getting paid no more because of whatever, and obviously he's suing for it. But now the only thing that's left with them is De Leon. De Leon is a tequila, right? Actually, have I tasted De Leon? I don't know if I have. But this is a joint venture. This is different than Ciroc. Diddy owns part of De Leon. He never owned Ciroc. Now, because he's been the face of many things, he has control of the marketing budget because they've marketed this thing with his face and likeness. According to Rolling Stones now, Diageo is saying that Diddy has become so toxic, at least on the mainstream level, that the 3 sexual assault lawsuits, which is before the one we're going to read today, which is the 4th, that it would be unfair for a judge to grant his request to have control, which he usually does, of an incoming $15 million marketing budget for the year of 2024. They want to take him away from being the person that not only controls the money, but is the face of the brand. Do I think that brand will survive without Diddy being the face? No. But they're in a tough position. How do you market this brand if Diddy's not the face? And shit, the company Diageo, who owns, by the way, they own De Leon. They own other great liquor companies or tequilas too. So, for example, they own, I think maybe Casamigos. I could be wrong, but I definitely know they own like Espolòn or something like that. So it's like if you're a tequila drinker, there's many more popular, way more popular tequilas than De Leon that they own. So for them, they wanted Diddy just to get black people into De Leon, right, or into tequila. Not necessarily they needed him to like sell tequila, period. Anyway. All right, so this happened. It said liquor giant Diageo says Diddy has become so toxic in the wake of the 3 sexual assault lawsuits filed against him. It would be unfair for a judge to grant his request for a control over an incoming $50 million marketing budget for De Leon. In a letter obtained to the court, they say that his plans to plaster his face on new ads for the premium spirit would be devastating. The disturbing allegations against Mr. Combs set forth in these lawsuits underscore any De Leon campaign featuring Mr. Combs and will compound and amplify the harm that he's already caused De Leon. You got to remember also, based on what not Aaron Hall, but actually was it Aaron Hall? Mark Curry. He came out and said, yo, we used to go to the club and they used to have liquor bottles, but it would be 2 different liquor bottles. One liquor bottle has regular alcohol. The other liquor bottle has some spiked stuff for women. Like, whoa. If that was somebody that worked for you, that was close related to you, I could see any liquor company saying, bro, you can't promote liquor right now. Like, people are thinking if you're like fucking drugging women, like, no fuck, like you're going to hurt our bottom line. Anyway. The disturbing allegations against Diddy set forth an allegation underscore blah, 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 blah. Okay, there's some more. The new letter identifies Combe, 3 accusers, blah, 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 blah. Okay, cool. All right. So they're kind of resistant to it. Now, before I get to what Diddy said, and Diddy actually finally responded today. He said enough is enough. Before I get to that, I should play, or actually, let me finish this clip, and then I'll pull up this new lawsuit against Diddy, right?
Ever Jennifer was at, so he could do something. He was trying to get Luther Vandross over there to sing to her. You know what I'm saying? He was gonna sing. He was trying to get Luther Vandross over there to sing to Jennifer. You know, so but Jennifer wasn't going for that because she had went through enough of his bull crap. Even when we come to the studio and there's like mad girls up in there and they being disrespectful or whatever like that, he was trying to convince her that, you know, because he was in the industry, he had to have mad girls up in the studio and everything like that. And then it was time that she tried to confide and talk to me, but I would tell her, I'm not a...
Okay, all right. You still want some other shit. Okay, so we do have the lawsuit here, and let me kind of pull it up. So we're going to see what this fourth person is saying about Diddy. Okay? Here we go. So, it was filed actually yesterday or today if you're on the West Coast. And it says, Jane Doe. By the way, so this person is not going to reveal their name. We don't know if they're popular. We don't know if they're famous. We don't know nothing about them. So we're going to have to, you know, again, people who are victims of certain, you know, potential crimes could use the Jane Doe plaintiff label to file the lawsuit, even though once we get into it, their name will be known, even though the court could try to redact it or like seal that. Okay. Anyway, this is some real person. But anyway, they're suing. It's Jane Doe versus Sean Combs, Harv Peer, who, by the way, just got recently sued too, Third Assailant, which probably is a company, Daddy House Recording, Inc., and Bad Boy Entertainment. They're always going to sue the company. Okay, let's read it. So it says on November 16, 2023, Cassie filed a 35-page lawsuit exposing Sean Combs for subjecting her to a nearly a decade of physical, sexual, and emotional abuse, punctuated by rape, sex traffic, and being forced to engage in drug-fueled, non-consensual sexual encounters with other men. Ordinarily, when a lawsuit such as hers is filed that involve events that took place long ago, witnesses are few and far in between, and evidence is hard to muster. Not so for the claims being brought against Mr. Combs. Within minutes of the filings, salient facts of Ms. Ventura's claims were confirmed by the various witnesses, including a rival musician whose car Mr. Combs blew up, as well as various individuals who observed Mr. Combs beat Cassie. Only a few days later, 2 other lawsuits were filed against Mr. Combs. In one, Joy Dickerson Neal alleged that Mr. Combs drugged and sexually assaulted her when she was a college student. The other lawsuit accused Mr. Combs and singer Aaron Hall of forcing the plaintiff and another unidentified woman into a non-consensual sex. At the same time, a 4th lawsuit was filed, this one against Mr. Combs' companies and defendant Harv Peer, the longtime president of Bad Boy Entertainment Holdings, Inc., Bad Boy. The suit alleges that Mr. Peer used his position of power at Bad Boy to groom and sexually assault his former assistant, and that Bad Boy looked the other way at the time. This is now the 5th. Oh, wow, I thought it was 4th. It said the 5th lawsuit against Mr. Combs in the last 3 weeks. Incredibly, the allegations brought by Miss Doe are, in many ways, even more egregious than those brought by his prior victims. Specifically, in 2003, when she was only 17 years old and in the 11th grade, Miss Doe was sex trafficked and gang raped by Mr. Combs, Mr. Peer, and a 3rd assailant. In short, when she was just a teenager, Miss Doe met Mr. Peer and a 3rd assailant in a lounge in Detroit, Michigan. While at the lounge, Mr. Peer insisted that he was the best friends with Diddy and even called Diddy with Miss Doe. Diddy convinced Miss Doe, who was half his age at the time to accompany Mr. Pierre and the third assailant on a private jet to come to his studio in New York. So they flew from Detroit, Michigan to New York. Before they left for the private jet, Mr. Pierre smoked crack cocaine in a bathroom at a lounge, in which he also sexually assaulted Miss Doe by forcing her to give him oral sex. Mr. Pierre and the third assailant and another gentleman then escorted the high schooler to a private jet, which flew to Teterboro, New Jersey. There were SUVs awaiting the group at Teterboro, and the four of them were driven to Daddy's House Recording Studio, a studio famously owned and operated by Diddy and Bad Boy. While at the studio, Mr. Combs and his associates, including Mr. Pierre, plied. It said plied? Did it mean plotted? Oh, supplied. Supplied Miss Doe with drugs and alcohol. I don't know why I said plied, though. Supplied Miss Doe with drugs and alcohol. As night wore on, the 17-year-old Miss Doe became more inebriated, eventually to the point that she could have not possibly consented to having sex with anyone, much less someone twice her age. While at the studio, she was gang raped by Mr. Combs, the third assailant, and Mr. Pierre in that order. While Mr. Combs was raping her, he complained he could not get off unless she pinched his nipples as hard as she could. Mr. Combs then watched as the third assailant, who Miss Doe had not even realized had begun to have sex with her, raped her, and as she told him to stop. After the third assailant was finished, Mr. Pierre took his turn at raping her and then violently forced her to give him oral sex, during which she was choking and struggling to breathe. When Mr. Pierre finished, he left Miss Doe in the bathroom alone. Miss Doe fell into fetal position and laid on the floor. Her vagina was in pain. Finally, after a short period of time, she regained her bearings. However, she could barely stand up following the gang rape and had to be helped up and walked out the building back into the car. She was taken back to the airport and flown back to Michigan. However, she has very limited recollection of her transport home and only remembers being in her car sometime early that morning. Unlike many victims who have came forward after decades, she could prove that she not only met Mr. Combs that night, but was in a studio in New York City with him on that night. Remember, when viewing these, she was 17 years old. This is her sitting on his lap. This is her at the studio. This is PD, Puff Daddy. Another picture here. Another picture here. Looked like she might be in a booth. Miss Doe had lived with her memories of the fatal night for 20 years, during which time... Oh, give me one second. During which time she has suffered extreme emotional distress that has impacted nearly every aspect of her life, her personal relationships, and said, given the brave women who have came forward against Miss Combs and Mr. Pierre in the recent weeks, she's doing the same. To that end, she's bringing this action to seek injunctive, declaratory, and monetary relief against the defendants in violation of the Victims of Gender-Motivated Violence and Protection Law, Gender-Motivated Violence Act, New York City, admin code, blah, blah, blah. The court has jurisdiction over the matter, blah, blah, blah. Okay, cool. Here's some interesting things. Jane Doe currently is a citizen of Canada. Sean Combs is a citizen of the state of California, and Harv Pierre is a citizen of New York. The third assailant, upon the belief, is a citizen of New York City. The defendant, Daddy's House Recording, is a music and media and entertainment company founded and owned by Sean Combs. At the time, so in 2003, she was 17 and an 11th grader. At the time, Diddy was 34 and twice her age. Wow. It's kind of getting a little bit sticky right here, right? At the time, Mr. Combs had many connections to Michigan, including, among others, to the Black Mafia family, BMF. Okay, this is just an allegation. On the evening in question, Ms. Doe was with friends in the lounge when she was approached by who she learned was Mr. Pierre. Mr. Pierre was with his own friends, including the third assailant. Mr. Pierre and the third assailant and their friends were dressed in suits. Mr. Pierre repeatedly complimented her appearance, saying that she was hot among other things. He then began talking about his self-described best friend and brother, Mr. Combs. Specifically, Mr. Pierre continually stated Mr. Combs would love to meet Miss Doe. Even called Diddy and put her on the line. Diddy told her that he would love to meet her and that she should accompany him to New York in a private jet. Shortly thereafter, he directed her to go with him to the bathroom in the lounge. That's Mr. Pierre, actually. And once inside the bathroom, they're saying that Mr. Pierre began to smoke crack cocaine from what appeared to be an aluminum can. After he finished smoking, Mr. Pierre suddenly took out his penis, demanded her to suck his dick, and forced her head down and perform oral sex. After sexually assaulting her, he directed her to accompany him and whatever to the airport in Pontiac, Michigan, where a signature fixed base operator had prepared a jet to take the four of them to New York City. Wow. How are y'all feeling about this story so far? You think it's cap or y'all think it's true? Upon information, believed the private jet landed at Teterboro Airport. Upon departing the jet, 2 black SUVs were awaiting the group. Ms. Doe got into an SUV with Mr. Pierre in the third assailant, and the other member of the group went in the second SUV. The SUV is brought by the group to Daddy's house recording studio and a hangout owned and operated by Mr. Combs and Bad Boy. When she arrived, she was escorted in the building where she distinctly remembered a sign for the company, Technicolor. Upon entering the studio, her first encounter with Combs, which is Diddy, at the time she arrived, a female recording artist was using the studio as Diddy and her parents watched on. She finished up shortly after Miss Doe arrived and left. While in the studio section of Daddy's house, Diddy asked her to sit on his lap and take a picture. A copy of the photograph is there. Wow. We could look at it as just a picture, though. Anyway, Mr. Combs, Mr. Pierre, and the third assailant began to ply. What does that mean? Ply Miss Doe, a 17-year-old child at the time, with copious amount of drugs and alcohol. While the evening was a blur, she does recall Diddy, Harvey, and the third assailant hitting on her incessantly, stroking her body and asking to see her ass and telling her how hot and how sexy she was. Various other pictures were taken in the studio that night, leaving no doubt that Miss Doe was in Mr. Combs' New York City studio with Mr. Combs on the night she was R-worded, okay? On the night, as the night wore on, the 17-year-old Miss Doe became, more and more inebriated, eventually to the point that she could not possibly have consented towards sex with anyone, much less someone twice her age. Nevertheless, that evening, Mr. Combs directed Miss Doe to accompany him to the bathroom in the studio. Once there, Diddy removed her skirt and underwear and penetrated from behind with his penis while she was hung over the sink. She did not consent to having sex with him, but he continued thrusting. At some point, Diddy turned her around to face him. He told her that he could not orgasm and asked her to squeeze his nipples as hard as she could to help him get off. He then turned her back around and continued to R-word her. Wow. By this point, Ms. Doe was coming in and out of consciousness because of the drugs and alcohol that she'd been given by the defendants. Her next memory was looking up into the mirror above the sink to find the third assailant had replaced Mr. Combs and was raping her from behind. Mr. Combs was watching behind the third assailant. Sexually assault her from a chair outside the bathroom. At this point, she mustered enough energy to tell the third assailant to stop and that she did not want to be having sex with him. The third assailant did not stop and continued to R-word her, even though she didn't have the strength to force her off him. Okay, after the third assailant was finished, he was replaced by Mr. Harv, who began having non-consensual vaginal sex with Mrs. Doe before violently forcing her to give him oral sex. during the latter part of the sexual assault, Mr. Pierre forced his penis into her mouth without consent. He or she remembers that Mr. Pierre was sweaty and that she had difficulty breathing. It's looking spooky, chat. Okay. When Mr. Pierre finished, he left her in the bathroom alone. All right. Ms. Doe fell into a fetal position, laying on the floor. Her vagina was in pain. Finally, until the period of time, she regained her appearance. And wait. However, she could barely stand up following the gang rape and had to be helped walking out of the building and back into the car. She was taken to an airport, flown back to Michigan. However, she had. Oh wait, I thought I read this part already. Okay. So she's basically admitting that the reason why she's filing this is because she's seen 2 lawsuits go out. One that Diddy settled, and she said the other guy who she said was involved in her story and doing stuff to her, she's, suing because he got sued recently. Okay. Now, I just looked at it. She's not asking for a dollar amount, so it's going to be up to the court. Whatever the court sees fit, which could be anything, right? If he's actually found to be liable. Now, in civil court, it's not about guilty or not guilty. It's about, are you civilly liable for whatever they're suing you about if it's a civil case? So the criteria is much different. Okay. All right. So the prayer for relief, they want a money judgment representing compensatory damages. Okay. They haven't said the amount. This is the lawsuit. And by the way, what's interesting to note is that this law firm is the same law firm, like the exact same law firm that represented Cassie when she got money from Diddy. So they know how to get money from Diddy. And if we're supposed to believe what now we're kind of almost like believing that maybe Cassie didn't come with everything because she knew he was going to settle, maybe even this lawsuit, even though it clearly says the R word and that seems extreme enough, maybe they're also kind of teasing some stuff and hoping to get like a settlement from Diddy. Will Diddy settle here? I think Diddy is going to have to fight every other situation other than Cassie. We get it with Cassie. You used to live with her. You were dating her for like 11 years. It's hard to do or hard to like go against somebody like that. However, he did send out a message today. He said, yo, enough is enough. For the last couple of weeks, I have sat silently and watched people try to assassinate my character, destroy my reputation and my legacy. Sickening allegations have been made against me by individuals looking for a quick payday. Let me be absolutely clear. I did not do any of the awful things being alleged. I will fight for my name, my family, and for truth. Sean Diddy Combs. Now, with all due respect, and, again, I'm not anti-Diddy. Even if you think I am, I'm not. I will say this. You see why all these little media personalities are like, oh my God, we gotta talk about him. We gotta keep him out of the letter of the law. We don't want to get sued. If Diddy was as innocent as them niggas is acting like he's innocent, like, oh no, we don't want to talk about allegations because everybody would have been getting sued. I haven't heard Diddy threaten nobody with a lawsuit. You know why? Because, my nigga, you do know when you sue somebody, you're going to also have to go into court and probably have to do a deposition as well. So I looked at kind of like all this where everybody's acting like, yo, they can't talk about it or whatever the case is. Diddy has not filed a lawsuit against anyone. He's not even sending out cease and desist. Now, obviously, he's not having a good time while this whole shit is going on. He's probably really upset. And that note, a lot of people point out, was basically his version of this.
I'm fighting for my life. Y'all killing me with this. I gave y'all 30 years of my career.
Robert.
30 years of my career. Y'all trying to kill me. You killing me, man. This is not about music.
Okay. Crazy, huh? By the way, I'm reading a couple donations off of YouTube. Jeremiah Davis, thank you for the $2. It says, yo, Diddy did fuck a 17-year-old. They said, let's talk about Usher. Are you saying that Diddy fucked Usher? Wow. Mansa Musa, thank you for the 5. It says, yo, damn, Diddy's moving like a Catholic priest. Unfortunately, right? Dragon, thank you for the $5. It says, yo, I call Wack on the phone and ask him about Diddy. Y'all could debate this topic of Cassie extorting brother love. I don't necessarily think I would be debating that. I think that's a good point of view because I think you can rationalize it. I wouldn't go as far to try to debate it because I can't stand on anything to say that she didn't. And I'm not saying everything she said maybe have not been the truth. It's just that there was definitely a bag dangling over your head, and it's all about security at that point, right? Who's this? Zotang TV, thank you for the 5. It says, excuse me for asking a stupid question, but why don't these wealthy people just buy escorts or prostitutes? Why do they force women? That's a really good question. Very, like, a very great question. By the way, the majority of these guys, they pay for vagina anyway. So they do buy their fair share of prostitutes. They do, just straight up give transactions where they're having women just coming to have sex with them or whatever the case is. I think what you're seeing when you say, why do they force women? And I hope this doesn't sound bad on my part, right? But this is what I honestly think. I think for the majority of these guys, including Diddy, this was the culture. Not saying I agree with it, but this was their culture. They used to, we're really, obviously, like that feminist era came, I felt like about 4 or 5 years ago. But as much as people complain about how not equal it is among men and women, I think we've had in our generation, we've had the most progress when it came to that. So when you're saying about like prostitutes and escorts, I think some of these guys, they were just living in what they believed was the most natural way to be. Somebody said, pulling nipples, though? Stop it. Y'all always have me try to, I'm not trying to defend this motherfucker. All I'm trying to say is that, all of these people are weird, bro. Like, they're all into weird sexual shit. And whether it's something found out about now or, 40 years ago, a lot of these people are weird. They're into some other shit. Okay? So when you say, why do they force women? I don't think the majority of rappers, even the ones that have been disgraced, went into any of their situations saying they're going to force a female. I do think that because they might be used to a certain type of culture, and you could call it rape culture if you want it, they may allow certain type of, behavior to kind of go on unchecked. And that's what you're talking about in terms of forcing women, I think. I could be wrong. Okay. All right. And remember it's a 17-year-old girl. Like that. Now, give me 1 second. Give me 1 second, people. Trying to give you a breakdown about this thing. They claim it's the 5th lawsuit. Give me a second. I'm just trying to figure out if I could get a better. Probably not. By the way, ironically too, have y'all seen this? Remember Ryan Leslie supposedly, I don't know if you guys know the story. Ryan Leslie used to be with Cassie. Diddy takes Cassie away from Ryan Leslie. And it's interesting while, they're having, this board meeting in the office. I think it was Ryan Leslie's people filming. This whole time, this is before Diddy started fucking Cassie. This kind of make Diddy look like a slimy guy, bro. Diddy's plotting on Cassie before she's even single.
I wanted to get us all together so we could get this, everybody can hear from me how focused and excited I am about the project. I wanted, Cassie to, everybody to meet Cassie. Y'all know that's Cassie. And hear the story directly from Miles. And then really get down to some business about, just so we can be on the same page of what the plan is, as far as from Tommy's concerned, and from we're concerned as also a label and Warner Atlantic. So everybody's on the same page.
So you're gonna see, and like, first of all,
shows and stuff to their label, and also as a producer and as a focus and
all
excited
right, just watch these first couple minutes.
about the project. I wanted, Cassie to, everybody to meet Cassie. Y'all know that's
By the way, he introduces Cassie. Ryan Leslie's sitting right here. Does not introduce Ryan Leslie.
And hear the story directly from Miles. And then really get down to some business about, just so we can be on the same page of what the plan is, as far as from Tommy's concerned, and from we're concerned as also a label and Warner Atlantic. So everybody's gonna learn some stuff. He had a record that he didn't put out here, and he went and started going over to Europe and doing shows and starting to build a following over in Europe. And I took notice to that because I didn't really see a lot of artists that would have the ingenuity to do that. So when he was doing that, I heard he also had a young lady that was with him named Cassie that had a record out. And I started hearing this record that was haunting me in the clubs. And it was, it was Cassie's record, Me and You. And it was I would hear it everywhere I was at. And so I kept asking what record is that, and when he told me that it was Ryan, exactly, it was Cassie. When I saw her,
To put it in
Yeah, by the
perspective-
time he come in, the girl like me now. You know, left her here for 3
Hold
Get her
on,
fired?
listen.
Did he get Wendy Williams fired? Yeah.
Now, let me give a little context to this. Back in the day, if anybody's old enough, and I know maybe a few like chat queens or like maybe people who have been around the block, if you know Wendy Williams she lost her job or she definitely got reprimanded, because what Wendy used to do, she would hear these rumors from the streets, right? You know how like these days everybody just says it, right? Because we're now on radio and this and third, and everybody's their own boss. Everybody got their own YouTube channel, right? So people will just say it and just be like allegedly or whatever the case is, right? You only care about a lawsuit. Well, back then, these powerful executives controlled the radio stations because they could control ad spending on these radio stations, which made these radio stations profitable and survive. So anyway, Wendy Williams, who, by the way, doesn't get credit for, I always say Wendy's the GOAT. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, she's a woman, but still, without her, you don't get me. That's a fact. I've always said, without her, you don't get Charlamagne, you don't get a lot of people, right? Check this out. So Wendy goes on radio, and Wendy says, and by the way, you know who else she exposed? She exposed DJ Mr. C for being into transgenders, right? Which nobody believed at the time, but later on, we realized it was true. Let me see if I can bring up some Wendy Williams talking about, it might be deleted from the internet. Let's see, Wendy Williams exposed Diddy. Let's see if we can find these clips. By the way, this is her doing a Vlad interview. Talking about it. Which, by the way, this is after she got, fired this and third. But she's not going to mention it by name, but come on.
Or skirts and dresses. Mm-hmm. Are you familiar with both?
Yeah.
What do you think of this fashion?
Really? Remember, I am hip hop.
Yeah, exactly.
It's funny how when men get older in hip hop, they're still, well respected, well versed, Cool Herc, you know what I'm saying, and Red Alert, and the legends, KRS-One. You put me in there, and all of a sudden it's like, oh no, Wendy's a talk show lady. No. I listened to Big L on the way to work this morning. No, I am familiar with Kanye and ASAP and the kilts.
Right. Well, Kanye had the kilt, and then ASAP had the long.
Let's get
nice, but be very clear. There were lots of homosexuals in hip hop back in the 80s too, that was You know, what's worse, you know, hip hop wearing skirts or hip hop being closeted and having a plethora of kids to prove manhood that, you know, and denial of something that you shouldn't have to deny, which is your sexuality. So I hear what Jamar is saying, but we come from a very homosexual era of hip hop as well. There was a radio personality once upon a time. Her name was Wendy Williams, and she was practically burned at the stake for talking about such. And now it's all come full circle. There were many situations, none of which to talk about, but there were many situations back in the day in my career, and it's all coming full circle now. So,
do you think now with people like Frank Ocean coming out of the closet, even though he's not exactly a rapper, but he definitely overlaps into the rap community, do you think that we're gonna have a time where it's cool to be a gay rapper?
I don't know, because I still see Frank Ocean as being one amongst many, but one, and that's good. But you know, and then there was the notion of this radio DJ in New York who is in denial. So that's
her talking about DJ Mississippi.
Goes to show you how far the homosexual movement within hip-hop and sports still needs to go. It is politically correct to be accepting, but behind closed doors, people are still hating.
Okay. That's her talking about Vlad. I don't know if I can find... These are old clips. These are old clips. Like, she used to be on radio, and I don't know if I can find any of those, like... I don't know if it was it WBLS or was it like Power 105 or something like that?
You know, what's worse, you know, hip hop wearing skirts or...
I know I've pissed a lot of people off. Human tears. Cassie said she she expressed support.
Okay, hold on. I'm trying to find the old Wendy clips. Anyway, have y'all seen this?
Medium.
Give me 1 second.
The Jason Lee Podcast.
So Jason Lee, who used to have a deal with Revolt, he came out recently and he's talking about some shit as well. I know everybody keeps saying Diddy's over, but like you can't count Diddy out. Not that I have like a horse in the race or whatever, you know, but everybody is coming for him. Now, here's the thing. A lot of people were saying, give me 1 second. I gotta find the timestamp for this thing. Where is it at? Where is the timestamp for this shit? Give me 1 second. I just gotta find a timestamp. Wait, where is it? What the fuck? Okay, here we go. Here we go, people. Now, again, it's up to y'all if y'all want to believe this shit, but, you know.
Acting like y'all wanted to be a wife. So fast, I didn't get a chance to speak on it, but I'm going to speak on it today. Diddy and his multiple assault cases. Now, you all know that this broke the internet when Sean Diddy, Puff Daddy Combs, Brother Love, ain't getting no love right now because he's in the news as a result of a bombshell lawsuit that I have printed right here from Cassie Ventura. Now, I want to do a disclaimer at the top of this first by saying that we do not have any acknowledgement of details of any of the claims in this or in all the others that have come out. But you know they say where there's a smoke, there's a fire, and baby, Diddy House is on fire. Also, I want to say as a disclaimer, we are not on or affiliated with Revolt TV anymore. We left Revolt a couple months ago, not as a result of this, because a lot of people are thinking that my silence is because Daddy Diddy told me not to say nothing or this is my friend. And then other people.
Hey, let me tell you, Jason Lee, I fuck with Jason Lee. He not like that. He ain't like the Saucy Santana type of gay nigga. Like that nigga is like a mentally ill piece of shit. This is like he like a real nigga gay nigga. Like a real gay nigga. A real nigga a gay real nigga. I don't know. But he be keeping it solid. Pause. Yeah, pause.
Are thinking that I'm being
yeah, he cool.
Silent because I'm on Revolt and I don't want to make my boss upset. He was never my boss. We never had that relationship. He owned the network that our show was on, licensed to. We did a deal with them for 23 episodes. We fulfilled our contract and then we moved on. And it was just more of a matter of us wanting to retain complete ownership and control over our thing. Not to mention we were doing all the work. Right? She's my supervising producer. He's the executive producer. We book, we shoot, we edit. Johnny, do we do it all? We do everything. Well, we left the network a couple months ago, and some would say it was right in time because Diddy is now and remains a trending topic while facing several sexual assault and abuse cases. Now, what jump-started all of this was when a civil lawsuit was filed by his ex-girlfriend and former bad boy artist, Cassie. Now, if you don't know who Cassie is, you've been living under a rock. This is a photo of them back in the day during happier times. Now, Diddy and Cassie were that power couple, although he had most of the power because he was legendary producer, executive artist. He discovered some of the biggest artists in the world. Now, he's produced for everybody. And we all know that of the younger hip hop generation, when it comes to hip hop and R&B, he really was, some will arguably say, the Quincy Jones of that era of 90s. He was the Quincy Jones of that era. He owned it. Jodeci, Mary J. Blige, Faith Evans, Biggie, Craig Mack, Total. I mean, the list goes on and on and on and on. And what I will also say is that he was the Mecca. And I'll say, I'm going to say is, but then you can argue whether he is or not. He is the Mecca of what Black excellence looks like. Coming from nothing, intern, a college promoter, to becoming an a producer, then a manager, producer, an executive, an artist, and then like an owner of a liquor brand that made $50 million a year or more. Sean John Clothing, worldwide distribution in Macy's, the owner of a network, a Black owner of a network. Now, being black and owning a network is not easy to do. Diddy has.
All right, man, get to the shit, bro.
At the time of the alleged abuse, a one-time opportunity to file civil lawsuits against individuals or institutions, supplying her with drugs, beating her, and forcing her to have a sexual, He says to me, yo, this industry crazy. And he follow each other on social media, and he has been a big supporter of Hollywood Unlocked and gave us a deal that I'm grateful for, but I have to do my job, and I know he understands that. So I'm not apologizing at all. A few years ago, I was in New York having lunch with a friend. I'm not going to say his name, but you know who you are. He was eating oysters, and I was eating lobster and steak. This was back when my stomach was big enough to eat the whole meal, and now I just take a bite and I'm full. He says to me, yo, this industry crazy. And he's a model. And I was saying, well, tell me, like, what do you mean? Like, what's the craziest thing you've ever seen? And he says to me, allegedly, I was hanging out with Diddy and Cassie once, and he wanted me to fuck her and had me rubbing all on her and like kissing her and like doing sexual things with her while he watched and allegedly played with himself and filmed it. And I have to tell you, I went off. You're a clout chaser. Like, this is why I don't fuck with y'all, because y'all, this, you know, you look at like, and I basically said to my friend, yo, you are wild for saying something like this. And in my mind, I was like, I can't trust this person anymore. And I stopped really hanging with the person because I felt like this is a model who was a part of the whole Sean John world who just...
Nigga, what?
With a friend. I'm not going to say his name, but you know who you are. He was eating oysters and I was eating lobster and steak. This was back when my stomach was big enough to eat the whole meal. And now I just take a bite and I'm full. He says to me, yo, this industry crazy. And he's a model. And I was saying, well, tell me, like, what do you mean? Like, what's the craziest thing you've ever seen? And he says to me, allegedly, I was hanging out with Diddy and Cassie once, and he wanted me to fuck her and had me rubbing all on her and like kissing her and like doing sexual things with her while he watched and allegedly played with himself and filmed it. And I I have to tell you, I went off. You're a clout chaser. Like, this is why I don't fuck with y'all, because y'all, this, you know, you look at, like, and I basically said to my friend, yo, you are wild for saying something like this. And in my mind, I was like, I can't trust this person anymore. And I stopped really hanging with the person because I felt like this is a model who was a part of the whole Sean John world, who just is looking for, you know, a way into being a conversation with Hollywood Unlocked, because people talk to me like Hollywood Unlocked.
Mm-hmm.
Page 2 of the lawsuit alleges that he raped Miss Ventura in her own home after she tried to leave him, often punched, beat, kicked, and stomped Miss Ventura, resulting in bruises, burst lips, black eyes, and bleeding, blew up a man's car, who we later learned was Kid Cudi, after he learned that he was romantically interested in Miss Ventura, forced her to engage in sex acts with male sex workers while masturbating and filming, ran out of his apartment with a firearm in pursuit of a rival industry executive whom he learned was nearby, demanded that Miss Ventura carry his firearm in her purse just to make her uncomfortable and demonstrate how dangerous he is, and introduced Miss Ventura to a lifestyle and excessive alcohol and substance abuse, and required her to procure illicit prescriptions to satisfy his own addictions. There's so much in this lawsuit that is just wild. But
you know what's crazy, chat? The most random sources. You just heard it from him. The most random sources.
I'm not gonna lie, man. Like, this is crazy because for
Watch
the
this.
first time in history.
Also, tonight.
This is Fresh and Fit, by the way. Hold on.
I like to mention, bro, was held down.
Hold on.
This happened
For some very good reason.
Yeah,
why
it was
he did-
we all having in the back for it.
Dude,
It's beyond a reasonable doubt where it's got
and some other friends
Hold on.
garner sympathy, and then also kind of absolve herself of responsibility.
stable, black.
Hold
Are we still good to
Yo,
man?
God damn.
He was saying that back.
I don't know if I can find it, but Myron Gaines himself was like, yo, he heard a friend who had a story about Diddy. I was like, man, we hearing too many fucking stories, gang. Let me see if I can find that bitch. Where is it at? Yeah, I think this is it. Probably
the
gotta
different
go here.
aspects of relationships between people.
Gotcha. So yeah, well, you know, let's talk about Japan, man. So you made a video talking about the passport movement, and this news broke about Diddy. If you guys don't know who Diddy is, can we pull up his wiki real fast? 'Cause
AKA
the young people might not know.
Brother Love, aka P Diddy, aka the Booty Bandit. 5.6.
I'm trying to see if I can find the
Sexual
story.
opportunity, whereas in the past, in my book,
And psychiatric medication being prescribed to young women. Oh, knives and going crazy, blah blah blah. And she was famous back in the 90s, right? At a crazy level. This is before.
Real quick, man. Look.
What? That's all.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
If I'm not mistaken. All right.
Heinous shit. Now, mind you, Diddy,
Or a weird thing here. This whole thing about him having her hook up with people, very interesting. There was a girl I used to see in New York. This was years ago, and she had told me that one of her exes, you know, was a model, you know, like some 6'8" Chad guy, whatever the fuck it is, and he had been tasked. He had gotten a job one time. He was like a male, you know, escort. He had been tasked one time to hook up with a female, and he didn't know that there was going to be a guy watching. He didn't know who the fuck it was until he showed up. But he showed up, it was Diddy. And it was like, and I was like, what the fuck? And I heard about this like 2 years ago, 2-3 years ago. I was like, what? This is fucking weird. So it's really interesting for it to, you know, resurface now with this situation. Now, with that said, right, we don't know what the hell's going on here. We know that this was a long-term relationship. You know, is some of the stuff she says potentially true? Of course, we don't know. We'll see when they go to trial, or if they settle it out of, well, if they settle it out of court, we won't know. But if they go to trial, then obviously.
Chat, I'm gonna be honest. I know some of y'all saying Cap. Don't it make y'all think like, yo, if Diddy was really moving like this, if he's having dozens of male prostitutes fuck his girl, he's Puff Daddy. His girl is famous by just mere how close she is to him, right? His girl is Cassie. If male prostitutes are fucking Cassie, you don't think they're going home and be like, yo, bro, you ain't gonna believe this. You know who I got hired to fuck last night? Cassie, my nigga. You think they're not telling people? That's one of the things that caught me off guard. I'm like, nobody's ever heard of this? So when I hear like these random stories, honestly, in many situations, I'll be inclined to say cap, y'all are just trying to pile on. I think all these stories are real.
He sure did. And then what happened, it was I did the Wendy Williams show. Yeah, when I if I remember this story right.
By the way, Lee Fraser, thank you for the 10. He says, I hate that we're acting like Diddy was found guilty of anything. All of this is civil. People don't understand law. Criminal and civil is different. I am going to tell y'all, though, that, if this continues, I'm pretty sure, especially in New York State, you have overzealous district attorneys. Like, these people are, with all due respect, and I want to get political, they're down to charge a former president knowing that, come on, what the fuck are you really about to do? Like, they want headlines. This seems juicy. They got Bill Cosby. You think they're hearing all these civil suits and not saying, hey, you think we can't get nothing on Diddy? I definitely think they're looking into trying to get something on him. Right now, everything is civil, right? But I remember that the report that came out that there was a open investigation to Diddy and they denied it. I would think that, no. Remember, these are really egregious claims of sexual assault, multiple, coming against one of the most powerful people out of New York City. Now, you're saying that we're acting like Diddy's found guilty of anything. I'm going to be honest with you, and I'll ask this question for everybody who's watching. Which part of this has intrigued you more? The possibility that Diddy may have been abusing these women, taking advantage of them, doing the R word, essaying them, which is sexual assault, or is it just intriguing that you're feeling like you're now hearing stories of what really was going on with these billionaires and millionaires and how they dealt with women and dealt with that platform? Honestly, with me, I don't know if Diddy did anything wrong. I just didn't know this is how niggas was getting down. And I keep telling y'all, when I'm speaking about this saying, what? This is how niggas is rocking? And nobody else is saying something? I keep looking around at everybody else saying, oh, y'all was doing the same thing too. Because I'm shocked by this. Everybody else don't seem too shocked by these allegations. Because we're not hearing the fucking peep.
Wendy Williams she was saying a whole bunch of stuff about Puff that y'all talking about right now. In fact, Wendy Williams was the first one to expose Puff. And the things that she was saying about Puff, the allegations, he was denying them. But Wendy was in the way saying she knew him. So the more she kept talking about it, the more and more he used his power to get her fired. And then she wasn't supposed to say his name out her mouth again unless she was doing an interview or something like that she could speak on him. So when I went to do the interview, she was really happy to have me on the show because she had a chance to talk about him again. Yeah, that's what happened. Because she was telling about all of these freaky parties and all of that. All of the male-male relationships and talking about the people in those high powers and what they're doing to these little boys like that, giving them record labels. And they giving them.
Okay, let me pause again for 1 second. That N-word Kess, thank you for the 10. He says, yo, Ryan Leslie's 7 years older than Cassie. We ain't gonna talk about that? All these niggas are creeps. I don't think hip-hop is ready to have that conversation. And I don't think that conversation will ever be had because it is within the letter of the law, right? In many places. In many of these places, 17 is the age of consent. I think a lot of people have pointed out that it is well known, like, for example, if you look here, how old was Russell Simmons when he started dating Kimora? Some say 16, some people say it was 17. People think it's weird, and I agree. If you're 35, she's 17 is weird. But you're not going to get the steam that you need to get for that behavior to be vilified because because 17 is still the age of consent. And again, we could point this out a million times. There's another article that came out. If you're wondering who else dated like 17-year-olds or whatever the case is, there's a long line. Let's go to this particular article. Give me one second. Let's go to this particular article about, Diddy's baby mama. Okay, should be here we go. Misa Hilton is Diddy's baby mom. This is how Billboard wrote the article in 2017. Look, it was written in 2017. Look how the article's written. Misa Hilton started styling celebrities when she was 17 years old, dating Sean Combs. Yo, that's what happens. These things was dating 17-year-olds. Oh, like, hey, again, I think, what y'all want these motherfuckers to do? Charlie Sky, thank you for this. Thank you for the 10. He says, court of public opinion gets you exiled by the people, which is still a form of conviction. Companies back out of both cordons. I haven't seen the fallout yet of Diddy. I seen some people send me videos. They went to the club. They were like, they're still playing Diddy. And I guess that they're expecting some cancellation where, like, he's getting the R. Kelly treatment. Number one, he hasn't been even charged with the crime. But I don't know what people actually want when it comes to Diddy and this whole situation. Right? It's, are you mad that maybe some of his behavior back in the day were, over the line? Maybe he choked a couple chicks out, beat up a couple chicks. I don't know about the sexual assault stuff. I think that's really deep. Are you interested that maybe he was into men? Are you interested that maybe he was, that kinky dude? I don't know what people want from that situation, honestly. They said people want the truth. Cool Baby Flex, here's the thing. I think we got the truth, though. You don't think we got the truth? If you're still looking for the truth with the Diddy situation, you're an idiot. What you think? Diddy's going to come out and tell you himself? Oh, yeah. Nah, y'all got me with that, but that, I didn't do it like that. Come on, bro. You got the truth already. The truth is there. There was allegations of what could have been the truth that the motherfucker paid up in 24 hours. Then it was echoed by like 5 other victims. Now, sometimes people aren't comfortable with just the truth. They want something to happen. They want to see the person that they feel did A, B, or C. They want to see them suffer and burn. And that's not probably going to happen. Let's get over it. Let's go back.
These little boys, where every boy, they was a bad boy. Gave him a record label. Bad boy. Bad boy. Get out of here. So Wendy been telling them kind of stories. They was like, damn, she putting out too much information. See, this was before this been, these kind of things could have been going on forever. From the start, from the beginning of the money, as soon as the check was signed over, what did you have to do? I had to get touched in the booty. That's not good. But some people is like that. They got that in every walk of life, not just in the music industry. They got They got police officers is even doing it in the police station now.
Right. But I want to ask you, right? How did Diddy act around females?
Insecure. Like he act like he was the prize in the loaf of Wonder Bread. You know, he's like, you know, he's very insecure. He's very don't want to see her talking to no, but don't talk to no. You know, it's almost like, you know how they got a saying called, if she winks, she'll. If he catch you winking, he catch that girl winking, he's offended. Cause if you wink, you. But how could somebody be? See, certain girls he must have been selfish about, and some females he wasn't as selfish about them as others. Because if he really liked to see people have sex with his girl, then why would he be upset about somebody trying to talk to his girl? So I guess there was a difference between the women that he thought was his, that you can't touch, versus the women that he felt was just the ones you freak off with. Like, did he freak off with Kim Porter? I probably doubt that he would. Did he freak off with Sarah? I highly doubt he would do that.
If you're still confused about like why we're still trying to speculate or we're trying to figure out what's happening, you don't have to look too far. If you're not in the industry and you're saying, man, why is Ack the only guy talking about this? Why so-and-so ain't talking about it? Why this other person ain't talking about this? You don't have to look too damn far. All you have to do is just listen to what is already in front of you, okay? You have people saying it in plain English language. They're breaking it down to you why you won't see other people maybe be outspoken about these things. And let's see if we can find, is it here? No, where is that? Give me 1 second. I'm trying to find it. I posted a Cassidy clip. Where is it at? Is it here? Nope. That's some Quavo clip. Sorry. Where's the Cassidy clip at? There's a Cassidy clip. Is it there? Nope. That's Boosie. Where the fuck is my Cassidy clip? Nope. Did I miss it? Or did I not post it? I definitely posted the Cassidy clip. Okay. Before we even do that, listen to this shit. What y'all think about this?
He was with Diddy for I don't know how many years. Every single day. We kissing in the mouth, going to sleep together, loving each other, rooting for each other, you know, doing whatever relationships is, sleeping in the same bed. Trust. You know what I'm saying? Trust. Secondly, now I want this millions. I'm out of there. I'm off that. Now I want millions from you. What does this do to your trust as Diddy? You out of there. You don't believe. Damn, I slept in the bed with a motherfucking 100 nights, man. What the fuck? And they turning it back? Damn. Trust. Okay. Secondly, bodyguard. This is a nigga I'm paying every day. I'm paying you every single day. There's about 3 bodyguards going bad. Like, everybody, hey man, yeah, everybody just quick to tell on you. It's like, damn, bro, we was together every single day. None of them real conversations we had ain't mean nothing to nobody. It's just like, so how do you ever trust a motherfucker in your life? I'm not saying he innocent or he ain't do none of this shit to say, but just think about what that do to your trust. And nigga just get to throwing this situation on him. Man, my son overseas, I got shit to do. I paid you when you was bodyguard for me.
Yo, Slim Thug is one of those people that don't realize that, yo, you're hanging your hat or like you're tying, like, you know, your rope to like, or putting your anchor with a sinking ship. I get what he's saying. Yo, if you're a celebrity, it's tough to find people you trust. Absolutely. Yeah. People will use some of your private and most intimate moments against you. But that's not really what this conversation is about. This conversation is that if hypothetically someone's a horrible person, if someone is doing really evil shit, they're harming people, they're subjugating people to certain type of stuff, should it be, oh, that person has to report that within a certain time, or do they have to just obey by loyalty and not say nothing at all? I think that would be stupid. I think he's only looking at it like if Diddy's innocent. If Diddy's innocent, whatever he's making sense is cool. But because we don't know Diddy's innocent, he can't speak about Diddy's innocent or talk about how people are betraying him. The first thing we should probably think about is, because we don't know if he's innocent or guilty, if he was guilty, the question would be, damn, how did he betray his homies? Now, if he's innocent, you might be like, damn, how did they betray him? To me, he's going too hard.
What the fuck I gotta do about caring about what the fuck going on with your son right now? That ain't that's your job, that's your daddy. You the daddy. I'm Puff Daddy, but not his daddy. You know what I'm saying? What the fuck?
Okay. Can I find the clip with... Nah. I'm trying to find the clip with... What's my guy's name again?
Don't stop me. Oh.
Where is it? Oh, right here. My bad. Damn. I am blind.
Plus, I'm really in the industry, and I know there's a lot more niggas that's not in jail. They might not be on trial, but they did the same shit or way worse shit than R. Kelly. Or niggas still blasting their music. So we can't just, like, pick and choose who you want to be angry at. Like, you know what I'm saying? You answered that very well. And if we gonna be mad at everybody that did a crime, then you might as well just turn off the music, turn off the radio, like all the fucking streaming sites gotta shut down, because there's only gonna be like 1% of the people left.
I agree with him. Not saying I'm saying those people are fine. But the silence on Diddy has told me, man, all these niggas was doing all this weird shit with these females, man. A lot of these industry niggas, man, like, this is why half of them is gay. They done did every freaky thing, threesomes, foursomes, fivesomes, orgies. They've had every flavor of pussy possible, and some of these niggas now want to try penis. Okay? I definitely am in the belief that a lot of these motherfuckers, the reason why they are quiet is because they also fell victim to the environment where they felt that they could treat women a certain way, or they could, operate a certain way, and they were sexual deviants. And they, obviously seeing what happened to Diddy, they don't want to be compared with that, and they're trying to walk it back now, but they're walking it back with silence. They're just not going to say nothing, right? And I agree with that. I ain't gonna lie to you, okay? Now, a lot of people say, yo, Cassie, if you're not gonna say names, that's kind of worthless. Shit, Cassie's one of those people who probably scared of the people who he's seen doing the shit. Can't be mad at him about that at all, if you ask me. Look at 50 trolling, man. 50 ain't shit. They said, after sexual assault suits are Sean Combs' empire and brand at risk. 50 says, no, he'll be fine. He has so much money. When his corporate partners pull out. So basically they're saying his money will keep these companies going or keep funding whatever, even if his corporate partners or ad partners pull out. They're saying, you see how fast he paid Cassie? He's a real billionaire. He has fuck you money, guys. So fuck you. You know why he's saying this? He's almost encouraging people to sue Diddy. He wants Diddy to run out of money, right? Like, and it's whether it's by lawsuit or anything else, that's his way of trying to get Diddy to run out of money. Okay? Wow.